So y'all asked, and I'ma deliver. So today, y'all, Rub-N-Grub fam, we are going to be doing brisket. I put a poll on the Facebook page, and you guys said you wanted me to do a brisket tutorial. So here it is, the brisket, how we do it here the Rub-N-Grub way. For those of you who don't know me, obviously my name is Clay, and we are going to just jump right into it. So as you can see, we have two 20-pound, or two briskets here, I should say. One of these briskets was 20 pounds. The other brisket was 15 pounds. After the trim, as you can see, the trimmings are right here. We trimmed about 7 pounds of fat off. I don't know if you can see that life, but so after having about 35 pounds of brisket, we have about 28 pounds of brisket, and obviously we're going to lose some of that in the cook. But regardless, our brisket process is fairly simple. We definitely use a binder. I know a lot of people don't choose to use binders. You can use whatever you want. When we're doing a same day process like I'm doing today, I definitely use a binder if I'm doing it overnight. I typically don't. I just use our rub, and today we're going to be using our Texas style rub from Rub-N-Grub. We exclusively only use our rubs on our meat. And this is all you need. It is our salt, pepper, garlic Texas style rub. It is very good, and based on my customers, it makes some of the best brisket some of the people around here in Muskegon has ever had, and Grand Rapids as well. So without further ado, I'm gonna get right into it. The binder we're gonna be using is you know what this is, Worcester sauce, worst world in the world sauce, however you pronounce this stuff that no one ever seems to be able to pronounce it, is what we're definitely going to be using. I like the extra flavor profile that it gives to it, kind of that umami flavor, and so I just like to get it all up on here, nice and even, like lather it in there. And then we take some of this Texas rub. If you don't have this, you definitely need to get it. It's amazing on everything from steaks to ribs, your French fries, potatoes, whatever it is that you like. I guarantee you that you will like it. And right now on our website, we have a lot of specials going on for it. So you can buy 4, get it for $25, buy 2, get 1 free. But I recommend that you give it a shot. I promise you, you'll love it, and that your barbecue flavor will definitely elevate. So I'm not going to keep y'all around too much for this, but as you can see, I am layering this stuff on pretty heavy. Briskets can handle it. It's a pretty thick cut of meat, so you want to make sure you get this thing completely covered. All right. And then, go ahead and flip these bad boys over on the fat side. I trimmed these up already before because there's plenty of videos on YouTube you can watch of people trimming a brisket or how to trim a brisket. That is nothing new, no techniques to that. I don't aggressively trim. Some of these briskets that I buy, I get typically mostly from Sam's Club or Gordon's Foods. And some of them are already trimmed, and some of them are botched pretty badly. Like one of these got a couple slits in them, but we're gonna make it work. Brisket costs way too much money for us to be trimming everything off of it, and I'm not in a competition. So for those of you who want to judge people's briskets on how they trim, I don't really care how you feel about it. This is the way we do it over here at Rub-N-Grub. And like I said, our customers love it, the people love it, and this is just how we do it. So pat that in, and we're gonna let that sit for about 30, 45 minutes. I'm gonna go outside, get our smokers piped up to about 250 degrees. That is where I'm going to smoke these at today, just because I'm doing the same day process with an overnight hold. I'm running behind on time. It's about 2 p.m. Here. Today, I would have loved to have gotten these on at 10 this morning, so I'm about 4 hours behind. Meaning I'll be up all night messing with these because it's going to take about 12 hours for these to smoke and get to the point where I want to pull them off the smoker. So one last thing before you put the briskets on the smoker. If you don't have probes, you should definitely get some. These are made by Inkbird. I absolutely love those. And these ones here are made by Pro Plus. And if you don't got none, you definitely want to make the investment into it. I definitely track the temperature, the internal temperature of every single meat that I make. Time and temperature, you can have that argument. I don't. I prefer science. And so science tells you that internal temperature of meats are pretty exact for the most part. You obviously want to make sure it's probed, tender, and everything when you're pulling them off. But these are a great way to make sure that you are tracking the internal temperature so you know exactly where things are as you're cooking or smoking meat. So, you just want to take one of these, stick it into the point in the thickest part. So the center here, and then get another one and just slide it like this into the flat so you can track both sides of the brisket and make sure that the temperatures are right. The flat sometimes can cook a little bit faster than the point, and that is exactly why I like to use these. Otherwise, I would recommend separating the flat from the point so that you are not overcooking the flat when you're making these briskets, because the flats do tend to have the propensity to kind of cook a little bit faster. But with our process and what I'll show you guys later as it's cooking, we kind of do something to help even that out a little bit by using a water pan underneath the brisket. So I'm gonna get out here with the smoker and see y'all soon. All right, y'all. So I figured I better show y'all this process too, since this is supposed to be a tutorial. But I am using the B&B lump charcoal with oak for this smoke. I actually have a hickory chunk of wood, and I'm going to be smoking on our backyard master built Gravity Series 1050. I've said this before in my videos. I absolutely love these smokers. I'm in the process of having a much bigger gravity fed smoker built, but this one is absolutely magical. It operates just like an electric pellet grill smoker, I guess you could say, but you can use charcoal and wood, and that's how I get that great smoke flavor without having to continuously play with the fires and be out here all day messing around with stuff. So I just load this thing up with charcoal here. So take a little bit, get that base down, and then I take these splits here and I just set it to the side on this side and fill it up. Fill it all the way up. What I like about this lump charcoal is you see how big these pieces is? That's beautiful. I was using the good charcoal company through Sam's Club. And I like their charcoal. I still love their charcoal. Their lump charcoal, but making the switch to B&B was the right idea. Just because they have much better quality lump charcoal. So yeah, that is what I use. I love oak and hickory to smoke briskets. Sometimes I even use mesquite. I know some people don't like mesquite, but I love it. My customers seem to love it as well. But typically, it is going to be oak and hickory, a combination of the two that I'm using on our briskets. Like I said, I'm gonna get this thing piped up to 250 degrees, let it flow for a while, let everything in the inside get nice and hot in the temperature before I throw on the briskets. Again, I likely will see y'all tomorrow when these are finished. I might take some shots in between of what the brisket's looking like throughout the process. But once I'm ready to pull this thing off and the rest of the process from there, then I'll shoot the rest of the video for you. All right, so as y'all can see, we got the fat trimmings on the smoker, and then we got that water pan directly underneath the brisket. We're doing that to kind of blunt the process a little bit, but add some moisture and to slow the flat down a little bit, so the point and the flat could potentially cook a little bit even. That's what we like to do, but just wanted to show y'all that as part of the process of how we go about doing things. This way I don't have to do any spritzing. I don't ever really spritz, and I just kind of let it roll for however long it takes. So there you go. So my Inkbird is telling me that the point on this brisket is at 176 and the flat is at 165, and then on the other brisket it's at a dead even 145 internal temperatures. So let's take a look at this brisket here with the 176 in the point and the 165 in the flat. It's coming along nice. It looks good. So I think at this point the bark is kind of where I want it to be at this point. So I'm gonna pull it off here and show you what we do as far as our process from here to finish. All right, so now I got this brisket off of the smoker because internally it's kind of where I want it to be at. The bark is kind of where I want it to be at a little bit. So we're going to prepare this to be finished. And the way we do that is, as you can see, I pulled some of the tallow off, or the fat that has turned into tallow. And so we take some of that, we just drop some of that into this pan here. I'll put the rest in jars. And then I take some beef broth. Not a lot. You can get the salted kind if you want. I like the unsalted because we already have a pretty salty brisket, I should say. And I don't want to add too much more to it, but this is what we do. I don't wrap my briskets whole anymore like I used to. I used to use butcher paper, used to wrap in foil, all of that. I found that this is the best method for us, for me, for the way I like to do it for Rub-N-Grub. We put it in an aluminum pan, and then we're going to go and pop it back on the smoker at 300 degrees until it finishes. Finishing temp for us is 195 degrees because we're going to end up hot holding this overnight. We would typically hot hold our briskets anywhere from 12 to 18 hours. Depending on what time this finishes, we should get at least a good 8 to 10 hour hold on this. Well, actually longer, because this is for my neighbor for her party tomorrow, her retirement party. So it should get about 16 to 18 hours worth of rest in the hot holding machine. Again, when it reaches the internal temperature of 195 degrees and it is touching the way that I like it to touch, it will go into the hot holding oven. But now we're just going to throw it back on the smoker at 300 degrees and just let it finish from there. So the brisket's in the hot holding machine, y'all. I am working, so I've already cut it and sliced it. Don't really have nobody here to help me kind of like show y'all what it looked like for real. But anyway, it's came out really good. This is our hot holding machine. I'm using this with lever, and I'm set up to work. So that is how we make our brisket. Put it in the comments if this was helpful to you, if you're going to try the way we make it or whatever or not. But if you got any questions, let me know. Again, Texas style rub that we used on the brisket. And yeah, catch you on the next episode.